November 14th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, Main Street in Falls Village. We're in person and via Zoom. We've been meeting to order. Number 2, the agenda. I do have 2 additions only because they came in late. I would like to add to the agenda 7.0, which is the transfer station report. And 7P, a discussion of the historic commission. And I would like a motion to add those 2 items to the agenda. So, all in favor? Aye. Okay. The pending minutes, I'll strike F. We might have those done in time. We were motion to the minutes March 10th, 2025 was a good meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. March 17th, this first special meeting minutes that had to do with our budget.
Budget review. So
yes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. March 17th, that had to do with the E360 general code.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
March 24th, special meeting having to do with our budget.
Second. First.
Second. On March 31st, when we put the cross the T's and dot the I's on our spending plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The 15th practice tape. We would do that, but we,
it's on the agenda.
Should.
yeah. I entertain a motion to receive the 2025 church report.
Second.
All in favor? I will take a motion.
We can get them. We can get them. The first one is to get them. Stop that.
Right.
Oh.
Thank you. Written communication. Communications, we received a email from Sarah Reynolds regarding trees in front of 75 Main Street. I spoke with our chief. He was taking a look at the tree. She is a bit concerned about the large branches, dead branches falling off it. And I think we're going to be doing some tree trimming and tree removal in the spring.
Yeah, we started already.
Okay. So we're going to take a look at that one and see what we can do with it.
And those 2 trees, they appear to be pretty healthy.
Yeah, that's what
Maybe just deadwood them. Yeah. Point of order. We got to go to public comment.
I'm sorry. Do you have any public comment? Anyone on this? Careful with your Zoom. I remember the last time.
No.
My apologies to my colleagues here. Communication. I am going to call upon the friendship of the Falls Volunteer Fire Department to coming Jamboree Lima. Wood, please. Want to just back up and tell us exactly what they're having?
So the next are series down, the trucks racing series is gonna come to Lime Rock. They wanna kind of feel it out, see if they can get the bigger cars in there. So this is where they start to see if it's even feasible for any bigger ones. And we've got all kinds of stuff planned for at the track. Basically, one of our engines is gonna be inside where the spectators are in case a camper or building catches on fire. And our tanker truck will be in the parking lot in case there's a fire out there. We're gonna have another town at our firehouse the whole time we're gone.
Norfolk, I believe.
Yep.
Speaking to the chief of Norfolk.
Yep.
Okay.
So basically, it's not gonna affect anything from our part of it, but the traffic, I'm sure, will be a nightmare in the beginning and whatever they let out. On Friday, maybe not so bad. Saturday will be.
And I'm going to make different funds plan, right? I'm assuming you're going to have the state police controlling first.
I think they had to hire a private company. That was the
Okay.
last thing I heard at one of the meetings I was at.
I'm sorry, Julia.
The date again, then.
June
26 and 27.
7th, I believe.
The main feature is the 27th.
Yeah.
That's when all the traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were talking, no, if they are gonna or not, they wanted to actually change Route 112. Both lanes in on the way in, both lanes out on the way out. And I don't know how the permits and all that go with that.
It's actually 27th.
I'm sorry, 27.
Yeah, so it's Friday. Yeah.
Just a quick question, and perhaps our emergency management director could answer this. Her capacity working with the handles. Is this going to affect our ambulance service in any way, shape, or form?
So the short answer of that is no. Our ambulance will be staffed at our firehouse for 12 hours each day. If there is a huge event with injuries, we will be called in. Right now, no, we will be converting our town and that's it. And we'll be stacked just because there's gonna be traffic and a chance of a mass casualty. But no, we will be.
And it sounds like more our ambulance would go if it was really hot. And if spectators were having heat emergencies, that kind of thing. Because they're gonna have, I don't remember how many paramedics, doctors, everything for the on-track stuff.
Right.
So really that shouldn't affect us either, but who knows what weather will do.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming in tonight and giving us that. As time progresses, if you have any paperwork regarding things that you can share with us,
Okay.
appreciate the emergency management director who will then share.
Think we can find her.
Okay. To the selectmen's report. 7A, the steep grant. Checked all weekend, and lo and behold, Sunday evening, what do I find but an email from OPM? Please be advised that due to the number of applications received for the Small Town Economic Assistance Program, that are known as STEEP, the announcement of awards has been delayed. Awards are expected to be announced by the end of April. Thank you for your understanding. That's from Martin.
At least they reached out.
Yeah.
They did. Even back from each other. That is,
I didn't know.
it's better than no. It's even better than me. So, I'm not sure how many grants. I think everyone in the northwest corner, but North Canaan here.
There's 140 towns can apply,
Mhm.
and it's tougher, twice as hard this year because they doubled the amount you can apply for, did not increase the funding.
Right.
So it's gonna have half as many awards.
So much for that. 7B, 2025 neglected cemetery account grant. We actually received the grant for $8,000. We haven't posted the grant, and the grant amount is $5,000. But I put the grant. Tracy Wilson, our sexton, did the grant. And the only answer I have why we received more was because so few towns had grant. I'm just going to guess that they had a pot of money, so we ended up with an extra $3,000. Most of the work is, or actually all the work in this particular instance is going to go into Sandville Cemetery around 63. Falls Village Daycare Center 1 testing. We did have a meeting about that this morning, but we're looking for a couple other documents. I would take that until our next meeting. 107 Main Street property lease. We had a public hearing on it, and I have to say, most of you were here. Wait a minute, all of you were here. Right, and so no need to reduce that, but by everything that I saw, and at least the crowd that we had, and I come out 32 people, were all in support of the off the trail out there. Let's get them open as quickly as possible. Recreation Commission, even though members are still meeting, I will have to receive the email, and there is recommendation for 2 new members. Wow. I should have put this, I got this late. I apologize again, but I think we're going to have to add something else to the agenda and any other business. But during the Recreation Committee meeting, we moved to nominate Chris Bosworth and Matt Gallagher as new committee members. And Melissa Lopes. The requesting endorsement of these nominations and the appointment of Chris and Matt to the commission to fill current vacancy. We propose Chris's term to end in November 2026 and Matt's in November 2027.
Are those the still vacancies? We'll have to show. Yeah. Who's the girl? Rachel and somebody else probably?
Yes, I have no. It's,
They are.
vacancies, they are for vacancies.
I can look it up. Probably Dan, the other Dan. Isn't there another Dan?
Yes.
Yes. I think you left in November. Okay. Vision Zero, the traffic speed device. We have all the data gathered. Believe it or not, we were able to pull up data. Then we put that a little bit more minutely for me because I could not break it down anymore. It's a great deal of traffic set it up on BBO Minor Street. Strangely enough, the people tell me for 2 miles an hour for speed limit, and there weren't that many cars traveling 11 miles and greater over the speed limit. Now it's all traffic. Percentage wise, speeding over the so
It seems like,
yeah.
especially when you're going up.
The Connecticut transportation grant. I applied for that once again. I feel pretty good about getting another $5,000. For making us a new friendly town. So this will go to the school again, pay for some program, helmets, bicycles, and so on. Believe it or not, at our COG meeting last week, we were the only town in the COG to apply. I think we need to be received a letter from Joe Humphreys, Natural Resources, Connecticut. receiving this email and this map, a lot of involvement or interest with the crew, whose time State Forest, 2 consecutive years of spongy moth foliage in 21 and 22, followed by some drought at 22 Northwest Connecticut coastwise pine and death of oak trees and other tree species to a lesser degree. We planned a timber harvest on Mansfield and Titus Mountain Road to salvage the dying oaks and create optimal conditions for forestry during a public walk is held in this area on September 4th, 2024. I don't remember that. Is scheduled to start in the next week. The timber harvesters of the area, and there's 2 areas both awarded to Undermountain Logging and Firewood. So it doesn't need to drive. Tim shared this with you earlier. Also, really helpful when it comes to that way to perform. It's just
They have to go, what's his name's land?
no.
Steve McCabe's.
Judy, I'm going to go quickly to the American this weekend.
We did. So America 250 is a celebration of the 250th anniversary of signing of the Declaration of Independence, which is next year. So this year is the kickoff with Paul Revere going through, with, with the lanterns and everything. And then the next day, the Declaration of Independence is signed. So what we're doing this weekend on Friday night, that's the anniversary of his ride, they're asking municipalities and other buildings in town, resident, whatever, to lengthen your window to celebrate the independence. And so Dave's going for 2 weeks here. We're doing the meeting house, we're doing the schoolhouse, the BB Hill Schoolhouse, the depot, the and a few other places in town. The thing is that we're the only ones in the region, except for Canaan, that's doing this. Bingo. The whole region. No, you're not, just not participating. And then the next day is the day of community service, and that's when we're doing the garden cleanups and the library's doing a lot of that. So.
Remind me, I need to speak with the DPW meeting.
Yeah, we're going to be meeting, cleaning up bags and stuff like that.
But we have that.
Oh, you.
I specified that.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll need more than 100.
No. So, so this is just a kickoff for next year's celebration. So I'm going to be approaching everybody to come up with ideas for next year. We're celebrating. The Historical Society is going to do summer lecture series on the Declaration of Independence, Revolutionary War, stuff like that. But if you like the library, anybody wants to do it, we'd love to do something until like 4. Unfortunately, I'll be really busy getting ready for a car show the following week. So I won't be able to do too much, but
Let us know.
yeah, it's something together.
And I know that we're trying to work with your state of the West.
We had talked about maybe doing the fireworks again at the high school. Well, it's they're pretty much booked for.
Um, spending plan. The item K, falls those grant line to be offered. We will look quickly, review the recognition of our efforts and the opportunity to collaborate more with the board. After care for group brings in our group feels that maintaining our current structure as a grassroots volunteer organization will allow us to continue our work most effectively. We have identified several key reasons for this. One, grant opportunities. Our mission encompasses identifying and securing grants for both municipal projects and private entities within and beyond Falls Village. Operating as a town committee might limit our ability to pursue grants outside the municipality, potentially restricting funding opportunities for local organizations. Operational flexibility. The dynamic nature of grant opportunities often requires us to convene spontaneously to meet application deadlines. This flexibility has been crucial in our past successes, such as the timely completion of the steep grant application, adhering to the formal scheduling and notice requirements of FOIA, key to our responsiveness and effectiveness. Collaboration with the Board of Selectmen. We are committed to work closely with the board to align our efforts with its town's strategic objectives. To facilitate this, we propose providing monthly updates on our activities and, of course, continuing to seek approval for municipal grant applications. Additionally, we welcome the opportunity to discuss the board's to ensure our initiatives and town's goals. Post grant implementation committee, recognizing the need for structured oversight and awarding grants to the municipality, we suggest establishing a grant implementation committee. This body will look alongside the board and other town officials to ensure that the awarded grants are managed in strict compliance with all regulations. From inception to project completion, several members of our group are eager to contribute to this committee, ensuring that the town's interests are safeguarded throughout the process. We believe that by renewing a volunteer-driven group, we can continue to operate transparently and efficiently, leveraging our collective expertise to secure and manage grants that benefit all village areas. We look forward to ongoing collaboration with the Board of Selectmen and are committed to supporting the town's development through our grant-seeking efforts. Thank you for your understanding and continued support. Sincerely, Liz Pierce and Paul Village Grant. So have only one problem here, and it comes with the proposed grant implementation. But it's something that I would like to run by our town attorney, having a committee that has been, excuse me, grassroots committee will have a problem with. There'd be a problem, but then bringing them on board as an implementation committee. I just would like to get some input from town attorney.
I would like to sit down with the grant group maybe in discussion a little bit more. Because they, as a committee, it still would be a volunteer-driven group, committee. And that way there's more communication. I think that's one of the key issues, because as much as I appreciate everything that the group has done, I feel like I'm in the dark on so much of it. I've been signing off on 2 grants now without reading completed grant. And I don't think that's a good idea. So I would like to be able to sit down with them and see how we can figure this out.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think we shouldn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that kind of worry me a little bit if they're not an actual town committee. And I think it might be a good idea just to express that, take some time together and figure this out.
Let me do this. Let me contact our town attorney tomorrow. Run this by him, see what he thinks, what his input is, and then we'll schedule a meeting, because then we'll at least have something to report back and say, hey, yay, nay, this is good, this is bad, this is positive, this is negative, whatever. Yeah. So I think it's right.
Also worries me because with grants being so iffy right now, I mean, we just received through the Historical Society this notice that we're not gonna be getting any grants from the Humanities Council and stuff like that, so. We need to be up to date, and I know that communication will go to the Board of Selectmen. And I think that's, it would be more practical to have us together as a.
I think it's a great idea. I don't know how many grants are out there. There's a great number of grants, but I do know that $136 million was cut for the arts in Connecticut. Federal grants. That number I do know. Right off the top of my head. So I've been told by several people. Okay. All right, Judy, I'm gonna kick this one over to you.
Okay, so I did send a letter to my fellow selectmen stating that, July 13th is the date this year. And, we're hoping to do something a little special because it's the garage's 95th anniversary. So, the only other big change is that we have hired a traffic control organization, so professional traffic people, some man Route 7 and 126 intersection. We were really worried about that position and nobody wanted to work it, so I think this is the best solution. Gonna cost probably about $1,500 to have a couple guys do it, but I think it's gonna be well worth it. And I think that the fire department is good. So that's the big change. Otherwise, I'm just asking if it's okay if we close down the roads again. Already getting sponsors, vendors, all sorts of, they're coming in, so,
That's great.
yep,
And it does come alive.
it sure does.
And then, by then, we'll have a cafe in town.
Right?
Even toy makers opens.
Yeah.
Item N, on the 17th, we had a general code 360, and we're still looking into this, talking to our boards, and in particular, planning and zoning has to do with codifying all of our documents, ordinances, our policies. Actually, planning and zoning generates more than anyone else in that particular area. I have seen some of their work. If you go on to the Markhamsted website, they have it on. What's very nice is they take all of it, and I'm just going to speak about ordinances. They take all of the ordinances, codify them, and when I say codify, they make them similar in language and form as to our state statutes. And they put them all in, I'm going to say a common language. Doesn't matter if it was an ordinance written by Lawson back in 1995 or written by Kristen Sella in 2025. It's going to look the same and sound the same. It's about an 18-month, for a small town, 18-month to 2-year project. Now we're looking. Again, we need to have buy-in from everyone, or we'd like to have buy-in from everyone, because being quite transparent about it, to set up application project of one solution, $500. Okay, but that just takes care of what the selectmen generate. You want to put in town zoning regulations and inland wetlands and water courses and a number of other things. It's about team time. Okay, but that is a little bit flexible also. And again, we put them on the line. We would then sign a contract with them where every year would be I might still say $1,200 to associated with them. and, we determine by, the problems they have. Let's just use planning and zoning, generating something new, they would just provide that particular service. Again, sounds really good. Moving along. See notification from the state. They will be looking at signs and stop signs along our roads. If you notice the stop signs on the steep, it's just north of 63. Okay. Or even here, it's 126. You notice the posts have the reflectors. You're looking at doing something similar to that. They just notified us of the roads that they would be looking at, so on and so forth, and probably doing work. That's in 25 and 26.
Private, town roads?
Yes. Okay. Matter of fact, they list roads here that they'll be looking at when they go to the scenes. You've already seen this too. They would be looking at Canaan Mountain Road, Road, Johnson, Kellogg Road, Main Street, Gage Road, Prospect Street, Green Street, Sand Road, Undermount Road, Warren Turnpike, and Water Street. They would be doing this. That's part of safety.
Replace the one at the bottom of Canaan Mountain Road.
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see. So 25 and 26, so I'll let you know at the end of 20.
Yeah, they did it.
Right.
That's what I'm wondering.
They wanted to know if basically they had us sign off those the office. They need to have a public hearing. They're giving us something for free.
Steep road. Doing along the end of steep road. There should be.
Okay, moving along. Okay. Here. Bank transfer station report. Did everyone receive this?
No.
Okay, I thought we sent out to all of them. I will make a copy of it. Just gives us municipal solid waste from January, February, and March. 141.9 tons. Recycling 21.32 tons. Income 1260. Metal is under review. I spoke to the treasurer, uses transfer station coordinator. Apparently, metal was a little bit about it this morning. So at this point, we'll have it straightened out one way or the other by tomorrow. So mirroring tickets for $16,170.50. Transportation fees $13,154.99. Suburban sanitation. So we had something to go on. I had $131.54. Rental 807.36. Bulky waste fee 912.73. Expense minus salaries, telephone, and electric $31,715.12.
That's for the month.
No. Don't scam.
He didn't mention.
No.
That's good.
We can reach out tomorrow.
I think we talked to Dave Schroeder. He did talk to Dave Schroeder.
17, discussion of the historic commission.
My mistake, I jumped the gun a little bit. We have to finish up some things on the historic district study committee before we see the next look. So, I'm not sure how you wanna do that. Do you want to disband? We did the last one. Send them.
We can just have a motion that we reinstate the key committee and expand the historic district committee. So, take a motion, Chris.
District study committee.
Oh, that's right, it just
Yeah, it's
continues
good.
on.
Right.
Correct. I take a motion to disband the historic district committee and still retain the districts.
How did we implement one without disbanding the other?
Because I thought it was.
Okay, do we have to act on that, or can we just leave it the way it is?
I think,
Yeah, two.
Okay, isn't it?
well, we can't actually form the committee until we finish with this. Well,
Yeah, so.
so you made that motion, so for discussion.
They make a motion.
That's right.
So,
We're gonna have to add that. New business.
New business.
So we're gonna have to add that at the end also. Okay. That's all I have there. 35 Road Street, I know there's some updates, but we're not going to share them, continuing essentially just to see that. So we will have other updates. Economic development. Do you have the efficiency when I went into my office and I had a chance to print them off? The 3 sections of economic development with the COG coming up that actually came up on one that you and I had attended in Wednesday. So, I do have all the information, didn't have time to print it out and distribute it. The plan task force, I just need to, I have one more resource that I need to get some time with. I haven't heard back yet, but once I have that, I will set a meeting date. CEN updates Connecticut Distribution Network tomorrow at 11 a.m. I have a team's invite to meet with them, and we will be hopefully within the next week, something that I've been working on for about a year, getting CEN in here. So Tim, I'm going to need that. It's clean down there. You know, it's a big issue. So just get it to me, and we'll get it cleaned up. CEN's on its way. Cobble Road, over the bridge, things we'll have it. New business. We do have the tax. There are no rebates this month, but we do have the suspension list. And the suspension list has been provided to us. And under that, I would just take a motion to refer the suspension list to the Board of Finance.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
Recommend to board finance.
Recommend for them review, because they have to sign off on it, but they need us to recommend for them to.
We have,
I'm sorry.
we have, to add to the new business.
Well, what I'm going to do is table that under new business to properly.
Nothing to report on the zoning bridge committee. We met on March 27th. And I was asked to review 2 items pertaining to the 6 bridges with Cardinal Engineering. The additional 13,500, I think, would be additional to the 55,000 we already appropriated, so.
That's
and then, study of. Concrete. At the.
yeah.
Is that what?
Spell this thing.
Yeah, so then the other thing is, the cobble room, Dan, Carl was getting some beaver trapping done. And, didn't want to interrupt that, so he's now completed with that. Got quite a few on there. And the dam's up, so he's got water off the room, or most of it anyways. And, I want to we'll, have a meeting down there to look at what we think needs to happen. But we haven't come up with any recommendations.
You need to do what we did. Transfer station. You need to go out and look at these locations. Get set up. And it's just comfort, and what I'm going to do is, once again, if we make other business coming before the board, introducing a new member, an abuser, I would make a motion that we take the recommendation.
Need to make a motion to add to the agenda.
We're gonna go for step to the agenda. Introduce this as, nine B. And that is the Recreation Commission. And the other thing we wanna add, Chris, is.
Historic district.
Do I have a motion to add those two items to new business?
Second.
All in favor? Let me also get nine B. Commission new member, recommendation of Chris Wadsworth and Matt Gallagher as new commission member. I'd just like to say, both these gentlemen coming aboard bring a tremendous amount of knowledge between now and performance and Chris, Camp Sloan over the years. It's just, these gentlemen, I'd like to say they're a home run as additions to the rec committee. So,
I think, didn't, she include the terms?
yes, so what we're going to do is, Chris's term, the Crawford term, will end in November 2026, and Matt Gallagher's term will end November 2027.
You roll.
So let's. Yeah. I think you think we can act on this. So I will make that motion. Wadsworth and Matt Gallagher, Chris until November 2026, and Matt until November 2027 as welcome, very welcome additions to the rec committee.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. For the second order of business here, that we disband make the motion that we disband the district committee, still retaining a historic district. I just made that. All in favor? Aye. Any other public? We've identified
Historic
yourself.
District Study Committee,
Yes,
that's the one you're keeping.
that's,
Yes.
yes.
My fingers. Just a couple things. I noticed the lease for the 107, it isn't on the agenda. That's for you to sign. That's gonna be signed, right?
I mean,
Sign that thing.
we have that motion that we're gonna read.
That was really my main question, I was just hoping.
Hold on, it's all taken care of.
The other thing is, grant for, with your help, apply for the $38,000 grant for the senior.
Yes, I did mention that. Apologize.
They're on the end of it, very competitive. It's really a long shot for them.
And this is why we need to report every month when we live.
We can promise you we get to them.
Okay, all right, you're on this.
Get together. Two other quick things though. For the Howard Year thing, I've read somewhere that they want like downtown lit up, right?
Yeah.
Not just two lights, but two lights in the window. That represents what Paul Revere had, two lights when he was.
So then you don't want it downtown lit up.
No.
I see.
And
One if by land, two if by.
I see.
There you go.
the last thing was the implementation committee, and I only bring it up because I know we're gonna be, I think you're talking to the attorney tomorrow. I don't think, and Eileen can help me with this. Wasn't to sign off or take charge of the implementation of the grants, it was to assist in keeping all the scheduling and stuff in line. We certainly had no intention of.
Something any of them.
No. It was, everything has a date when this has to be done, this report has to be done, and it's really just coordinating it and filing everything to Dave saying, hey, don't forget this is due next Friday. Or
I just want
helping
to run
with
this,
the process.
people, you see, running it by.
No, I agree. I'm just trying to make sure you understood what our point was. Do you agree on that? Yeah.
I mean, basically, get building and making a calendar of when things are due.
My biggest fear, and I've been completely transparent with everyone. I know you and I have spoken to each other, and we have all talked at one point or another. I am afraid, having working in the nonprofit, okay, that we kind of do service bureau that I do. We are starting to see a number of students. And that's not to dampen who's enthusiasm. And so I'm taking this off. Unfortunately, the time we are in.
A lot of that's gonna go to the municipalities to go to. It'll be a rough couple of years.
There's a lot of this as this side. I had the opportunity last the high meeting for legislative liaison from Arlington First Select Mike Chris actually to go through a number of House bills and Senate bills. And I can tell you that the number to go through is not going to be able to not saying. Whatever. Thank you, Chris.
You second that, Judy? Here's your list.
Thank you all. I'll zip something tomorrow morning and
You can go right now. We got all this time. Look, it's 10 minutes to 7.
Turn that on.